Good evening. My name is Jeremy Staley, and I work for CEC, and this is the Neighborhood Traffic Calming Public Meeting for North Kenosha Avenue and East 54th Street North from 51st Place to Norfolk Avenue. I'm Jeremy Staley with CEC. With me tonight is Mary Kate Rowe, my assistant at CEC, and we have two representatives from the city of Tulsa, Russell Bausch and Michael Van Slyke. They are traffic engineers with the city of Tulsa. No, I don't really need to talk about ground rules right now, so I'm going to leave those off. This project started when Mr. Owens submitted an application for the traffic calming program in August of 2018. And by doing so, Mr. and now Consuela, Mrs. Owens, became the traffic calming advocate for the street. CEC completed our traffic study in November of 2020. And in that traffic study, there are two warrants that are required to be met in order for us to move forward as speed hump eligibility. The first is the 85th percentile must be 5 miles per hour over the posted speed or 7 miles per hour on streets with homes facing away from the street. This project had an 85th percentile of 36.4 miles per hour, so it well exceeded the 30 mile per hour. It is a 25 mile per hour speed zone. And secondly, the ADT, average daily traffic, must be between 600 and 5,000 vehicles per day. On this particular project, it was 1,080 vehicles per day. So we met both of those warrants to move forward in the process. If a project warrants, other factors are considered for eligibility as follows. The street shall provide access to abutting residential properties. The street shall not have more than one traffic lane in each direction. The street segment must be at least 300 feet in length. The street must have a regulatory speed limit of 30 miles per hour or less. And the street should have curb and gutter to prevent vehicle runarounds. And finally, speed humps will not be installed on residential streets or residential collector streets where traffic signals are located at both the beginning and the ending terminal points with a higher classified roadway than a collector street. Once a project warrants and passes all these other factors and construction funding is available, the next step is the petition and endorsement process. A list of street addresses along the project length were provided to our traffic calming advocate, and a successful petition must be signed by at least 80% of the residences along that street segment, and they can either be in favor or opposed. However, 67% of all those residences must be in favor of the speed humps. In this project, we had a total of 78% of the residences in favor of the speed humps, and we were able to get 81% of the houses to sign it. So we had only 2 people mark no out of the 40 signatures that we got, and there were a total of 49 properties. So once the petition and endorsement process is complete, and I should go to the endorsement process, this is for a housing HOA. If an HOA is there, you have to have the officers meet as a board and to sign off on this and give us their blessing. It's important for them to know about it because of the impacts it can be to adjacent streets or to the neighborhood, and they are the voice for that neighborhood. In the case of this project, there is not a HOA. So once the petition and endorsement process is complete, a speed hump layout plan is designed, and the speed humps are located at spacings as directed by the traffic calming program design criteria. And depending on the length of the block, the speed hump spacings vary. However, on a long street, we typically use 600 feet as the maximum spacing between humps. The reason for this is if you allow more than that, people will typically gun it in between the speed humps to try and make up time. So we do our best to limit that to 600 feet or less. At this time, I'm now going to share my screen and review the speed hump layout real quickly. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Oh, let me hit this. Let me try that now. Can you all see the speed hump layout? Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So we are going to start at 51st Place North. It's on the top left corner. And this layout shows these large black blocks that are the speed humps for this project. And as you can see, we start off with 160 foot. Typically, our first speed hump and our last one is supposed to be 150 to 250 foot away from the intersection. And as you can see, we're moving along to the north, along North Kenosha, have another speed hump just south, the second place north, and another one. They're about equidistant in that block, separated by 52nd place. Moving to our next sheet, we have another speed hump just north of East 52nd Street North. And then we hit this cul-de-sac as it runs to the east on 54th Street now. We have a speed hump 144 foot away from that match line, basically about 150 some odd foot away from the cul-de-sac. Then proceeding further to the east, we have one more speed hump in between Madison Avenue and Norfolk Avenue. And the speed humps terminate at that point. Further to the east, between Peoria and Norfolk are some commercial properties, so we will not be installing any speed humps through that. Now, I'd like to share with you the what these speed humps look like. Oh, for some reason I had that open up. No, here we are now. So, okay, on the screen is with a plan view and a cut section view of the speed humps. As you can see in the center area, these speed humps are 22 foot long, and they are marked with chevrons. As you can see, the black is actually a white marking. And we have speed hump signs at each corner where you can see it approaching from both directions. And there's a little arrow pointing downward. The reason for these signs is to help in letting motorists know of these speed humps and exactly where they begin and end at. And also an advantage of having these signs is the city, if this is a snowplow route, the snowplow drivers know where these speed humps are, so they're able to make adjustments with their snowplows. As far as what these look like, in the top left corner is a elevation view of it. What they are, they're parabolic at the entrance and the exit from the speed hump, and they've got about a little over a 10-foot long plateau. So these are not quick speed humps. They're pretty long, but they allow a nice smooth transition for vehicles driving. You can easily drive 20, 25 mile per hour over these in a typical street legal vehicle and not scrape the bottom of your car or have issues like that. Every vehicle rides a little differently over it. Some pickup trucks might react a little differently than smaller cars, but I've driven over a lot of speed humps in various different vehicles, and they ride very, very nicely. Let's see. I would ask if there's any questions over these speed humps. One more thing I'll point out, the speed humps typically go, they start 2 foot from the face of the curb. You can see in this section BB. They start 2 foot from the face of the curb, and then they have a little 24-inch taper up to that plateau. The reason for this is it will allow bicyclists, if they are riding on the street, to not go over the speed hump, they can go along here. But more importantly, it allows drainage flow to cross and to navigate by these speed humps. So we do not want to block any drainage from the street. Again, these are the pavement markings that you've got shown from both directions. They're highly visible. They'll be white, and with the yellow speed hump signs, you'll be able to see these very well at night. Make sure you can make adjustments. They are very effective at slowing speeds. We typically do a post study once these are installed, just to see how does this affect the volumes or the traffic speeds. And generally it brings the speed down a few miles per hour. And in every situation where we've put these in and we've done these tests, we have not had one that has been able to exceed that 5 mile per hour over the speed limit. So they've done a good job in reducing the speed, mitigating that in people. The funding source for this project, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. The funding source for this project is the Improve Our Tulsa 2 issue that was voted on back in November of 2019. There was money set aside for this project, and as a way of us extending our tax dollars, our funding for this project, the city of Tulsa will be using their own maintenance staff to install these speed humps. And they do a very good job in doing that. And we're typically able to get 6 speed humps for the same cost it would take to pay a contractor to do it. And the reason for that is the city staff and equipment are already paid for under the standard maintenance budget. So the dollars that we're spending on the project go into material costs, and it allows us to construct a lot more speed humps through this program. So we're glad the city will be able to do that. As far as the timing of when this can happen, we are going to be posting this video on the city's YouTube site, and we don't know for sure when that will be done, but as soon as that is posted, we're going to have a 2-week comment period. And so we encourage you to view this and to provide any comments to us. And I'll give you our contact information here in just a moment. But once that comment period is over, we'll put this in the queue with the city's maintenance group, and they'll be constructed in the order of which the projects are in right now, which at this time, there's one project waiting to be constructed. So this project very well could be the next project. Hopefully construction will start in the summertime, and you'll have some speed humps on the way. Okay. As far as comments or questions, those questions could be emailed to me directly. My email address is jeremy.staley, that's JEREMY .STAHLE @connectcec.com. Oh, Consuelo showed up here. I'm going to admit her. And my phone number is 918-663-9401. That's 918-663-9401. And feel free to ask for me, or you can ask for Mary Kate Rowe. She's my assistant on this program, and she'll be happy to help you. At this time, I'll now open the floor up to questions. Consuelo, I'm glad you're able to join us. We have been doing a video the whole time. That way we can post this on the city's website on their YouTube channel as soon as the city is able to get their servers and everything back up online.
Okay.
How are you
Great.
doing?
I'm doing well.
Very good. I'm glad you could join us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any other, all the participants on this meeting, it's all City of Tulsa forces or Mary Kate and I. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have or hear whatever thoughts you've got on this project.
So none of the residents logged on to the Zoom?
No, you're the only one that's logged on so far.
Okay, great. So basically, I was just wanting to clarify where the speed bumps will be located and like the timing we're working with.
Sure.
So yeah, basically that's pretty much it.
Sure. I'll share my screen here in a moment. As far as timing is concerned, we typically have a 2-week waiting period after this public meeting, 2 weeks after we get the Zoom meeting published and posted on the city's YouTube channel.
Okay.
Now, typically that occurs within less than a week's time. But at this point in time, the city of Tulsa's servers are down. You may have heard about that on the news. So we're not quite sure when this will be up and running and we can post it on the city's website. We're hopeful in a week or so.
Okay.
I've heard different estimates from different people. I don't think anybody really knows for sure how long it's going to take. But as soon as they get up and running and we're able to get that video posted, then we'll have a 2-week comment period. Now,
Gotcha.
as far as timing, the city of Tulsa's maintenance staff from Streets and Stormwater will be constructing these speed humps. And they've got one project in the queue right now. And they're currently in pothole repair mode with the ice storms we had back in February. It created a ton of potholes and a lot of damage to the city streets. And so they've been working diligently since then to get those potholes repaired. Our hopes were that by June we could begin construction on the next site, but I don't know where they're at with that. I haven't had an update in a few weeks, but that is the hopes that by June we can get moving on that. So if everything works out well, hopefully they can move on to this site sometime, perhaps by the end of June or July. You'll be the next project site on queue.
Awesome.
Of course, that all deals with how quickly we can get this video uploaded and the city servers get back online. But I'm hopeful they'll get those back online in the next week or two.
Okay, great.
So as far as the speed humps are concerned, my I do not understand what I did with my, but it has been a bit of a challenge for me tonight. I did something wrong and it,
I think I'm looking at the blueprint. I think one of the questions were about the size. I know across Peoria on 54th, they have the larger speed bumps, and I was just wondering, are those the same ones we're gonna have, or we're gonna have a smaller one?
they are, in fact, they are 22-foot wide speed humps. This is our speed hump detail.
Okay.
Right here in the center, and it's 22 foot long. So the ones that you've seen, probably when you call them big, that's what they are. Now, they're not terribly tall. They're only about 3.5 inches tall, but they're very long, and they're effective at slowing cars down. Yet at the same time, you can drive over them 20-25 miles per hour without losing a wheel or an axle.
Right.
In fact, if they're constructed well, my kids are getting older now. When I started this program, my son was only 5 or so at the time, and he thought they were fun. The closer they were together, he thought it was like a roller coaster. So he's like, "Daddy, let's do that again." So, well, he won't do that anymore because now he's 11. But it was fun while it lasted.
Right. So on 54th, I guess the question I was wanting to know, on 54th Street, how many will we actually have on this street?
On that street, let me open. I do not know what happened with my, I think it had to do with me calling this full view. And when I did that, I somehow lost my other files, and it's frustrating why that is the case. Okay, let me just see here. Okay, so let me go to the first page. So starting at the south end, you can see every one of these big black boxes are the speed humps. So on this first sheet, we do have 3 speed humps. On the second street, which is split more or less where the cul-de-sac is, between Kenosha Avenue and 54th, we've got 2 there. And on the last sheet, we have 1. So altogether, we've got 6 speed humps from 54th Place North all the way to Norfolk Avenue.
Okay, so you said actually on the 54th Street, you have how many? I'm sorry.
It starts, I'm sorry, I meant 54th. It's starting at 51st Place North, going north on Kenosha Avenue. From there, as we cross at that cul-de-sac and go on 54th Street North, we've got all together 6 speed humps.
Okay.
Altogether.
Okay.
We've got 3 on this sheet, 2 on the second sheet, and then 1 on the third sheet, right once we, in between Madison and Norfolk.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I guess I'm looking on here, and it was just hard to tell exactly like where they were located on East 54th Street North. So that's why that was the clarity I was looking for.
Sure. And where they are at, we do have street addresses on these. These rectangles things, those are the street addresses. So if you were to go out there and see where these homes are, you can see, look, this one is in between 813 North or 813 East 54th and 819, splitting those drives is where that first speed hump is on 54th Street North. And then further to the east, we have it about 39 foot from the end of the radius from Madison Avenue. And those are the 2 speed humps we've got up there. We didn't push any more further to the east of Norfolk between there and Peoria because it's commercial properties and there's no.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. Okay. I mean, did you have any questions? Okay. I'll just check with my husband, see if he had any questions on anything.
Sure. We appreciate your work on this, and I know this process has been going on for, well, I guess, going on 3 years. So we're glad we're at this point finally.
Yeah, this is my second time putting it in. So this is altogether about 6 years. So 3 years at a time, and then the first time I did it. Yeah. So.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I appreciate the follow through. I know it's quite a process. It takes time, and then the petition process is difficult to go around and meet your neighbors and get people to sign. And
yes,
I know it's quite an effort to do that. So I appreciate the efforts you've moved forward with that.
Appreciate your guys' help and patience and just everything, the assistance. because
you're welcome.
it's all part of the, it all works together.
Absolutely, absolutely. We enjoy working with the city on this program. I think out of every project I've ever worked on for the city, it's probably been the most enjoyable program, just to know what an impact it has on people's lives.
Oh, yes.
These cars
yes.
down and get these people that are using your residential neighborhood as a drag strip and get them to move out of there and go somewhere else. And I know it pushes them to another street, but at least they're not on your street. And that's the important part for you and your family.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, do you have any other questions?
Actually, I don't. I think that's about it for all I can think of. Just look forward to seeing this process move forward. That's where I look forward to.
Excellent. Well, we'll keep in touch with you. And as soon as that video is posted and the 2-week comment period is over, we'll let you know. Hopefully by then that other project may be done. So we can give you a better idea of when this project will start. We do our best to give you a few days heads up on when they'll be in the neighborhood. And I would imagine with this street, they'll probably take about 2 weeks to get it done. Some of the work may lag a little bit behind putting in signs or striping, but I imagine once they start, they'll probably complete it within a couple weeks.
Okay, great. Well, I guess I'll just wait and wait for any updates and just go from there.
Very good. Michael, before I leave, Michael or Russell, do you have any other comments or anything you want to say?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything everything we talked about. Like you said, the city servers are down right now. So once they come back up, we'll get that video posted on there on the YouTube channel. And like I said, 2 weeks after that, if there's no comments, then we'll proceed as it is.
Excellent. Thank you, Russell. All right. Well, this will conclude our meeting, and I hope you all have a good evening. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.